Spoilers for up to Star of the City level. You've been warned. Personally, Yan is one of my favourite characters in the Project Moon universe. Some of you may still kind of remember this subject matter in my April Fool's stream, where I talked a little bit about why Yan is 100% the best as bundle and explained why he's so well liked. Well, I put that together in a few hours and I wasn't exactly sober. There's a third bullet point. I didn't put anything there because the only reason why that's there is because I thought it looked ugly with 2. So here's an actual video with me explaining why Yan is such a likable character for most people, including me. Let's start with something straightforward. Why do I think that Yan is such a popular character? He's on a lot of fan art. And I mean a lot of fan art. There's quite a few Twitter accounts completely dedicated to Yan, in fact. I'm also willing to bet that he's probably got one of the higher numbers in terms of the more adult-only works, and for good reason. Look at him. Just look at him. His entire design radiates a balance of 2 common traits that most popular characters exude. Cute and cool. His face, height, and voice all lean to the cute side, and he also has a fairly soft voice. It almost sounds gentle even while he's angry.
여기서 모든 지형이 만들어졌다면 적어도 잔인하지 않게 바꿔줄 수도 있었잖아.
But on the other hand, he emits a really cool feeling as well. The index uniform that's composed of formal suits and white capes fit this feel completely. His greatsword also lends him a more sinister impression, especially with how Yan speaks calmly all the time. He never panics and rarely does he show much emotion. His writing, design, personality, and even his backstory make him extremely likable. For those of you that didn't read his story, Yan has followed prescripts for quite a long time. But because of them, he lost his family, he killed his friends, all for the sake of following the Index's orders. He didn't want to survive anymore. He planned to follow his friends and family to death. But he lacked the courage, so he picked up the next prescript thinking it would tell him to kill himself so he could force himself to. But it didn't. It told him to become a messenger of the Index. No redemption was given, no order of death to make up for his sin. He just wanted to disappear, to expire, to die. And now the prescripts wouldn't even let him have that. So he rebelled against them. If they wanted him to work as a messenger, he will. He'll show the world that even as a simple, humble messenger of the Index, the prescripts don't mean a damn thing. They're just words on a simple piece of paper. If he starts forging prescripts, something might just be different. Things will change. That is how humans are. We love his position so much because it's a David versus Goliath situation. One messenger against the entire Index. It almost makes it look like he'll overcome the odds and come out on top. But he was wrong. The prescripts were one step ahead as usual and predicted his treason. He was confused. Lost. How did they know? Just how much did they know? He was offered an answer. And he took it before distorting. I think we can all agree on this, but Yan's story is inherently tragic. We are fortunate that we don't have an omniscient being like the city telling us to do things. We have other people who are just as valuable as we are. We are given orders, but those orders aren't always correct. This is factual. People make mistakes. Sure, most orders are relatively accurate, but some just aren't. The person that gives us orders isn't all-knowing. They are limited by the experiences and information that they have on hand. However, the city itself is the complete opposite of that. It predicted Yan's movements, his thoughts, his ideas, things nothing else could possibly know in that situation. It knew that Yan would rebel, and it knew that rebellion would lead to something positive for the Index if he followed its path. So it allowed Yan's treason. Can you really say that the people in the city have a will if something that isn't even a technically true living being can predict exactly what they're going to do, when everyone eventually bends to the city's will and its goals? Yan had his forgeries predicted accurately. What if the Index could even foresee what the other fingers would do? Hell, what if it could even predict L-Corp's incidents and saw that it would provide them with distorted Yan? Veered a bit off course there. Let's get back to the topic at hand, yeah? So, why else is Yan so popular? Don't worry, we are already nearing the end. I only have 2 main points left to make. First, he's the most recurring character in the game, excluding the ensemble. In total, Yan appears in 5 different receptions. The Carnival, Index Proselytes, the Thumb 2, Index Proxies, and Distorted Yan. We have a lot of time with him and are able to see his journey from a regular Index messenger to a distorted mess. Because of that, the majority of people feel a more personal connection to Yan than most other guests, in the same way that more people feel more connected to Xiao than Lowell. He's also one of the most notable guests due to both of his designs. They make people that much more fond of him. If he only showed up in his own reception, he would probably still be popular, just not as much as right now. And finally, my last point. I talked about it a little already, but his personality. At times, Yan is shown to be pretty compassionate as compared to a regular member of the city. For example, when he tells Lala that she can warn the woman next door that there are needles in her cake. He's genuinely a nice guy who's trying to go against an unfair system after suffering through it himself, which slightly contributes to his popularity. Or, for the sake of another example, let's compare him with the Tom. Our first impression of Yan is that he's an overall polite person who isn't easily unnerved. While the carnival are having their meal, he greets them, passes them an invitation to the library, and warns them of what happens if they fail the prescript. Then, the Kurokumo clan comes in, a subsidiary of the Thumb. They suggest the idea of jumping him before reconsidering after noting the strength a simple messenger of the index will have and how the finger barbell is going to occur. Yan only says that he delivers messages from above and stays silent for the rest of the conversation. He doesn't lose his cool and he doesn't particularly feel threatened either. Then, he approaches the Thumb in their second reception. He arrives as they are talking about their plans to raid the library and straight up shits on their idea. If they raid the library and happen to be booked, the index will be invited next. If the index obtains their books, the Thumb is doomed. And here's the thing, this is almost exactly what happens next. Carlo and his capos attempt to raid the library for information on the Liu, but then lose and are booked. The index proxies are then invited with the book of Carlo and the Thumb, but the difference here is that the index don't win. The library does. Yan predicted almost everything perfectly. In the end, he was almost right. How does the Thumb respond to the opinion at first? They point their guns at him. And Yan pulls out his sword.
결국 이렇게 되네요.
Of course, he loses, but the fact that he stands his ground here gains respect from the viewer. He doesn't run away, nor does he scold the Thumb for not understanding the circumstances. He's extremely polite and relatively mellow. And it isn't just this situation either. For example, even when confronted with the fact that he was forging prescripts, he calmly asks,
언제부터 알고 있었죠?
Basically, almost everything about his personality makes him likable. There aren't very many flaws in how he's characterized, but he isn't invincible either. Sure, he's cool and good-tempered, but he isn't necessarily strong both physically and mentally. When facing the index's truth, he loses his grip. It wasn't his fault. It never was. When the prescripts told him to do bad things, they were meant to happen anyways. Why care? Nothing matters. He shouldn't feel guilty for what he has done because someone or something else would have done it for him anyways. Same with all the other prescripts. What's the point of taking responsibility for something you did if it was going to happen no matter what? After internalizing that, Yan distorts. And I don't think he can be blamed for that. I think it's fair to say that most of us would probably distort as well if put into the same position. And with that, I'm done covering all the main points in this video. I'm still a little bit sick at the time of recording, so if I kind of sounded or hard to understand at points, that's why. I'll put in subtitles later down the road, so don't worry too much about it. If you're a fan of Yan, let me know if you agree or disagree with the points I made in this video. If you're not one, I hope this video gave you a bit more of an understanding on why he has such a cult following. Either way, thanks for watching and make sure to visit again, yeah? See you guys later.